Yeah. How's your day been? What'd you do today?
Today I was just at work, working a little bit over summer, so just got off a little bit ago.
Yep. Are you graduating now, or do you have next year coming up too?
I am graduated with my undergrad, but I've got a whole nother. I'm in grad school at UF, so I'll have one more season there.
Right. Okay. I wasn't sure how many seasons you had left. There
Yeah, yeah, one, maybe two more. Depends what the NCAA says. So,
Believe it or not, I was at Stetson my freshman year.
oh wow, no way.
Yeah. I was
What year were you there?
I was a freshman in 2020. I was there on campus for the fall semester. Then I went back home to save a little money, and then I ended up transferring to community college that I'm in now.
Wow, no way. So we were
Yeah.
there at the same time.
Yeah. And I mean, you were playing football. I actually worked for the athletics department in marketing. I was like
Okay.
the social media guy for the main page. Not like
Oh wow.
not the football one, like the main page.
Right, right, right.
And that was like my first like real social media experience and like
Cool.
professionally sort of. So that actually probably influenced me to really start building up this brand, Athletic Minds, and now the podcast.
Right, very cool. That's awesome.
Yeah. And now wait, let me just introduce you here. We're sitting down with Justin Curtis, wide receiver. He went to Stetson University up until this upcoming year, where he's going to be at University of Florida. Playing football. You mentioned before, just completed his undergrad. He's ready to make an impact for Florida next season and probably 1 or 2 more years. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So now Athletic Minds. Athletic Minds is like the nucleus, like the bigger brand. The podcast
Okay.
is like a branch off of it. But
Right,
the whole thing is mindset, motivation, like the will to be like your best self, right? So
right.
what I really want to touch on here in this episode is revolve all the questions around this. How do you think that you should handle going through adversity, like the deepest adversity you might have been through? What advice would you give for like the best way to maybe like combat that?
Um, I do know there's a lot of ways to go about that. I mean, that's a pretty heavy question in today's world, especially with all of the unfortunate news stories coming out about athletic suicides and everything in the college world right now. But I mean, it is real. I battled what was to be said a career-ending injury by the doctors in 20 right after the 2019 season. I shattered my foot into 3, 4 pieces. They put it all together with a bunch of screws and plates and everything, and came back that summer, played, and ended up having to get another surgery to pull out some of those screws and put more places back together. They shaved some bone out, so some serious surgeries. They said I'd never play again. Blah blah. You always hear it anytime there's a surgery like that. But um, so immediately following that, it was tough. I mean, they tell you you're never going to play again, and you're struggling. No
I
matter
bet.
no matter what happened, it's the worst thing you can hear is you're probably never going to play again, or you'll never be the same player that you were, or whatever it is. So you immediately fall into, well, crap. I'm done. What am I going to do now? You don't know what you've got planned next. This was it. So for me, I fell back on my faith. My faith was everything. That's what carried me through. I knew that Jesus had a plan bigger than my plan, and so I'm gonna if I can get to the point where I can trust Him to take me on that plan, I'll be okay. Getting to that point was tough.
Yeah, I mean, any sort of injury like that where you go through a whole process, like you realize, oh, I'm injured for this amount of time, and then the recovery process that follows. It really all comes together, and you got to realize, maybe it's just bigger than me. Maybe I had a different path. Maybe I was supposed to do it this way, and it's all in place. I just got to follow through with it now. So yeah,
Yes, exactly.
completely can understand where you're coming from there. But to follow up to that, when did you start playing football?
Started playing. Well, I started in kindergarten. I played 1 year.
There you go.
My dad said absolutely not.
Oh wow.
You're not playing in kindergarten. He said that was pointless. You go play some other sports, and if you want to come back and play football when you're older, come back and play football. So I grew up playing softball. I mean, soccer, baseball, basketball, hockey for a year. I played everything there was, and then once middle school rolled around, I said, all right, I'm
Right.
allowed to play football again. I'm going for it. So middle school.
There you go. And you're from the Florida area too, right?
Yeah, I grew up in Bradenton.
Right. Yeah, I'm from up north in New Jersey. So
Oh,
it's so
wow.
weird how I ended up in Stetson. Like I wanted to like
Yeah.
go to Florida for some reason, and I found Stetson. I got a decent scholarship package. So I was like, you know what,
Right.
I'm gonna go try it out, like leave whatever. And this was like peak COVID, so like I was still
Oh,
going.
neat.
So that was like, I mean, it was even tougher because it was not in 2020 on campus at Stetson. I mean, we were both there. It wasn't like there was a lot of people there. It was probably
Right.
kind of awkward, right?
It was empty.
Yeah.
It was a weird time, that's for sure.
I'm sure like all the policies around. I mean, I know. I worked at most of the basketball games. So that was the only games going on in that fall of 2020.
Oh, yeah.
So I mean, I had to get like COVID tests like every day. It was a little wild. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
that's
sure
real.
for you guys it was a pain to like just the restrictions and like probably couldn't meet like normally and stuff like that.
Yeah, Zoom blew up and the whole 9 yards.
Right. So now this brings me to another point. I it kind of goes hand in hand with adversity. Adversity. How would you say that you best deal with failure? And best advice you would give someone that's going through like a tough time where you think they failed, but I don't want to counter up that before you say anything. When I think of failure, I don't think of actually failing. I think it's kind of just like learning. I feel like you never really fail. You just learn what doesn't work. So how would you like your best advice to combat that?
Um, I mean, I think you hit it on the nail on the head right there. Even when, I mean, everybody hates to fail. That's the worst part about doing anything is failing. And some people are so scared that they can't even try it because they're scared they're going to fail it. But what you said there with it's not really failing if you're going to learn from it. It's hard because some people do. It sounds like you do. If you can learn from your failures, it's really not a failure. It might suck, you might be pissed, but you'll come back from it better. But if you take that failure and you let it become the failure and the loss and whatever it is, and you marinate on it, and you never get better from it or you never learn from it, that's when it really does become a failure.
That's when you can talk about like wasted potential or like opportunities that just go to like waste because you're going to realize like what you've done. You can now like learn from like what you did. If that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
yeah.
If I'm giving them a release move off the line and it doesn't work and I get locked down and I don't get the ball thrown to me or I can't catch it because I didn't do my job. If I then go back and I can't I can't give him a better move next time because I'm stuck on the one I gave. I'm pissed I didn't catch the ball or didn't get open. I'm not getting open again.
Same thing's gonna happen.
It's over. Yeah, I'm getting locked down again.
And that can go like either way, like sports, really just life in general. I'll give an example about myself with Athletic Minds, like posting content every day, right? Some stuff, some formats don't get like enough likes or reach enough people. All right, that didn't work. Let's try something else. Let's switch the wording of some of the content around, like talking to the first person, talking to the third person, and like switch it around, see what works, see what clicks. And when something does, follow it until it doesn't, because social algorithms always change. But that's kind of what that's like my field. But with sports, DB picks up your game film, they see what you do. You have to change it up. Like there's no way around it. You either change it or you're gonna lose. You gotta adapt.
That's right. Yep. They do go hand in hand. Real world sports. I'm telling you.
Right, and another thing that goes with like dealing with like adversity, like dealing with failure, overcoming stuff, is that other people around you now. Some like no one is always. I mean, not no one. Everyone is not always on your side, right? There's obviously people out there that, like want to actively see you fail, right? So what do you say to people, or what do you think about people that like are doubting, like you doubting in general? Just like how do you deal with those sort of people?
Well, personally, I've got to get past it. I mean, everybody has the story. If I were to listen to my haters, I'd never be here. And I mean, it's true for probably all of us at some point. If you listen to some critic, you'd never be where you were.
Right.
And I think that's all they are. If you can see them for who they are and not become a people pleaser, and I'm not going to try out because this guy said it'd be a waste of the coach's time. I mean, you can never listen to somebody like that. And if you fail, you fail. But like you said, if you can figure out how to learn from it, you're better off anyway. So.
Right. And another thing that I think can help in like learning from stuff, like developing a process, maybe a routine, a ritual. Morning routines, super important, I think, in a lot of successful people's lives. So I ask you the question now, do you have a morning routine, and what do you do every morning? Or is there like one or two things you always do and make sure you get them done? How does that work for you?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm a very routine-oriented guy. I've got my ways, and I like the way I do things, and it's hard for me to change it. With that being said, throughout the year, my morning routine does kind of change when practices go from 5 p.m. to 5 a.m. or I've got a class at 8 instead of 9 or whatever it is. I'm always changing it, but there's two things that I always am making sure I do in the morning, and that kind of sounds like a stereotypical teenage girl. It's coffee and Jesus. That's the first thing I start my day off with is getting into my Bible, getting some quiet time alone, reading, praying, getting alone for 10, 15 minutes, and then I'm getting out and going to get my coffee. From there, I make some straight black coffee. That's all I'll take.
There you
so
go.
Pretty quick, cheap, and easy for me, but 30 minutes and I'm done with my morning routine, ready to start some homework, go to class, go get a lift in, get in the ice bath.
Right.
Big ice. So that's
ice
part
baths?
of my routine. Oh yeah.
I speaking of ice baths, before we started talking, I just saw this guy on TikTok. He does like an ice bath like every day. I think his name is like Brad or something on TikTok. He's ridiculous. He does in like I watched like I stalked him a little bit in like Minnesota he's at and like goes outside like in the winter too, like December, January, ice bath in like your shorts. I'm like, what the like probably like negative degrees. I'm like, oh. I mean, everyone has their own thing that gets them going. I mean, personally, ice baths. I mean, all right, yeah, probably not in my everyday routine, but I definitely benefits from it. Relaxing, clear your mind, like really just focus on like if you can stay in an ice bath at like 30 degrees for like 5 minutes and just focus without your phone, just really just meditate in a sense. Mental toughness, I think, you can get a lot out of that.
Oh yeah. That I get out of it, and the immediate physical benefits. I mean, you get out and you are ready to roll, no matter what it is, no matter how tired you are, you're ready to roll. So I enjoy it.
No, yeah. I mean, with morning routines, everyone has their own thing. Like you said, coffee and Jesus. Me, maybe it's a Bang energy shot and reading a little bit, and like a book that I just have over there. But yeah, everyone's different. Whatever works, whatever gets you going for the day. I mean, it could be literally anything. It could be you go for a run for 5 minutes. It could be do as many push-ups until you fail, or I don't know, read a bedtime story, whatever it might be.
Right.
Yeah. But what morning? Whatever associated with morning now? Breakfast, right? Arguably the most important meal. Not only just breakfast, but in general, breakfast foods. Do you have any sort of foods that you always try to stick to? That you're always eating every day? Like it's always in your system?
Yeah, actually, breakfast is a very controversial topic for me because I love breakfast. However, I'm a very big intermittent faster, so I'm only eating breakfast twice a week.
Okay.
But when I do, it is 6 eggs and 4 pieces of bacon every time. So it's my favorite, probably my favorite meal out of every meal. But that's
Yeah,
what I do.
I mean for sure. To me, and college athletes like yourself, and really any college athlete, I'm saying, not everyone eats 6 eggs, right? But I think to stay at like the physique that you're at, or a lot of athletes are at in college, level 1 above, an exceeded amount of protein in the morning is definitely something that's is
Right.
key. And now going back to something even more interesting, I'm not too familiar with like fasting, like you said.
Yeah,
Could you go into that a little bit? What it is for anyone else that might not be too familiar?
Yeah, so basically, intermittent fasting is a way. There's hundreds of benefits that go along with it, and but for the main reason I do it is that it keeps my inflammation down. So my knees feel a little bit better, my ankle feels better from all the inflammation out over the week of training and lifting, and as it is tough. I mean, yeah, you're not eating, you're missing breakfast and you're missing lunch, but intermittent fasting is basically, at the bare bones of it, 16 hours of no eating, no drinking, anything but water. And then it allows your insulin pump to basically be completely shut off for 16 hours. So then your body starts to go through changes. It starts to get out the dead cells and rebuild cells in your mitochondria. So you get a little bit of an energy boost. It takes all the swelling out of your body. It helps with your skin and your hair. There's a ton of benefits. I could go on and on about that, but it's usually an 8 and 16 hour window. So if you quit eating dinner at 9, then you wouldn't eat again until 1 the next day. So you miss breakfast, you miss an early lunch, and then
Yeah. No, it completely makes sense, and you explained the benefits perfectly, I think, and I can completely see how it would help, especially athletes that need to regain recoup from if they're sore or something like that.
Right.
So for you, it's 5 days a week. Is that during the week?
Yeah, during the week. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'll intermittent fast. So then Tuesday and Thursday, I'll eat breakfast and lunch and eat normally. And then, so the 3 days a week, I won't eat. And I'm able to do that because of where I'm at with my body weight and where the coaches and trainers and nutritionists want me. I'm able to do that and maintain, and I can even do that and still gain muscle. But some guys, like the O-linemen, D-linemen, linebackers that need to constantly be gaining weight or maintaining a high level,
Yeah.
I wouldn't necessarily recommend that for them. But maybe one day when they're done playing football, definitely.
No, for sure. Yeah, and you talked about something that was also really interesting about how some not some, probably all coaches have different meal plans, like weight targets for each player on every college team. Could you go a little bit into that and how that really works? And does it come surprising that you need to gain or lose 20 pounds in however long?
Oh yeah. I mean, our weight to them is nothing but another statistic, and they're not afraid to tell you. About twice a semester, we'll get these things called DEXA body scans. So it scans your entire body and tells you how much muscle, how much body fat you have, everything like that. So then we'll take those numbers, we'll go down and we'll sit down with our nutritionists who will then give the recommendation that where the coaches want us, and how to get there. If that's eating more food because they want you up, that's great. And if you're unfortunate enough to have to lose the weight, they're going to start restricting some calories and cut you off a little bit. So, but they're not afraid to tell us where they want us to be and why. That's Nate's whole thing at Florida right now. He's saying we're all too fat. He wants the team body fat percentage to come way down. So
I guess in relation to that, you can see how in the NFL offense is really picking up. Fast-paced systems are really becoming the new norm. Andy Reid, the guy at the Rams, Sean McVay. So maybe being faster and light on your feet is really key for the defense. Maybe if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think it definitely is a key. That can definitely help. Absolutely. Coming in after Christmas break is always a tough one. So.
Oh man. Honestly, myself, now a sophomore in college, but I remember my junior year specifically in high school. I played middle linebacker, right? I'm a 5'9", 180 kid, and junior year going to senior year, I got up to 215.
Wow.
And yeah, but like you said, how you had to 6 eggs in the morning. That's what I was doing for a year, in the off season leading up. And I mean, right now I'm sitting at 175, lost it from my peak, but it's tough.
Right.
I can speak from experience. It's tough to maintain. And being a high school kid at the time, I don't have a job to buy all this food. So it's tough for people that are trying to support you too. And I think that's a lot of issues people might fall into. I want to do this, but I really can't do it because I don't have opportunity or a support system that really can do that. But if you can, do what you can. I'm just saying for anyone watching that's a younger kid, if you really are trying to bulk up or you have to get to a certain place with your weight or you're not happy where you are, I mean, do what you can. Suggest healthy foods to your parents or something like that. But I'm sure you kind of relate to this as well, right?
No, yeah. Gaining weight for some people is really tough. Yeah. And same with losing it. So.
Oh yeah, I mean, you probably it goes both ways, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All right. A little bit more about yourself now. We talked all about like general motivation, mindset sort of stuff, but now you specifically. What's Stetson?
Okay.
How did it go? How did you get there? What was like a recruiting process? Was there other options for you? And ultimately, what was the decision after Stetson to go on to Florida? So you can start with Stetson.
Well, actually, my college career actually starts at a small D3 college in Montgomery, Alabama, called Huntington College. I committed there out of high school as a quarterback. I had never played receiver before in my life. I go to Huntington in Montgomery, and I love it. Huntington was a great school. They've won three conference champions since I've been there or left. Great school, great football program. It just wasn't. It just didn't fit for me. I loved every friend I made up there, and still one of my best friends he's met up there. Only knew him for 6 months, but I decided it just wasn't the fit for me, and I wanted a little bit more than I was getting out of quarterback. So I transferred to Stetson. It was closer to home. It was a school I had liked. It was Division I, and so I figured if I can just transfer and go to school, I think I have a shot to walk on. And I figured if I just sat the bench and was able to be with the team and travel with the team, that'd be all I was looking for. So I transferred blindly, get accepted to school. I get there in December, or I guess it would be early January. I had emailed the coaches. I had called them, nothing, no answer, no contact with the coaches. And so I got to Stetson, and I went into the football locker or the football offices that we have.
Right.
Following the custodian lady. I saw her going there every day at noon. So at noon I'd show up and I'd walk in right behind her because you'd have to scan in or whatever.
Right. Yeah. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Once I got in, I went to Coach Hughes' office and knocked on his door, and for 4 days straight got no answer. And I walked back, didn't see anybody up there. Now I know they were out recruiting, but Friday he was there. Knocked on his door, he opened it, and basically like, "What's up?" So I sat down, told him what I was looking for. I think I can make the team. I'd like to transfer. I was a quarterback. I'd like to play wide receiver, and he kind of snickered, kind of chuckled a little bit, which I mean, can't really blame him. I'm a D3 quarterback, transfers to Division I and wants to play wide receiver, so I don't blame him. But he said, "Go down to the weight room, give us a lift, and we'll see if we want to invite you out to spring workouts and everything."
Wow. So right there, he said like, "Good, went to go lift."
Yeah, so right there, I said, all right, sure. So he gave me a shirt, gave me some shorts, and we
what were you thinking at that time? Like, were you saying, "Oh, I have to hit a certain number," or what was your goal there?
I don't know. I honestly, I was just all right, sweet. I had been praying for an opportunity, and this was God giving me an opportunity. Let's just go lift. Lifting is one of the things I fell in love with in high school. So I knew that if I could get in the weight room, I think I have a chance. So sure enough, we get in the weight room, and he says, "Hey, come out to practice or come out to training camp, come run with us, and go through the spring, and we'll see if we want to keep you for the fall." So I said, "Hey, that's all I could ask for." Went out there, had a blast, made some friends, had fun playing, and next year I was the starting wide receiver. So
there you go. That's a story.
Yeah.
Wow. So yeah, wait. How did the season where you became the starter, and then like what were some of like talk about your like some of the boast a little bit. Talk about some of your success.
Well, I did start the season out by starting. This guy that was in front of me was named Steve Burdett. I'm not sure if you remember him. He was a baller. That kid was amazing. I became the 2, so I sat the bench behind him. And the first game we played at D3 school, a little team just kind of beat up on and get better at. So he's having a game, and by halftime I go in the game because we were beating him so bad.
Right.
I go in the game. I think I had like 4 catches for 50 yards or something like that. So a pretty good half for me. It was promising,
right,
to say the least. And so then we go into the next game, same thing, D3 team. Steve was a little banged up. He hurt his hip. He's the star. They don't want to hurt him. So I go in first quarter. He starts. I go in first quarter. And I ended up having, I think, 9 catches for 99 yards, something like that. So I had a great game. Probably best game of my career. And then sure enough, the next week, I'm still not the starter. The next week, we go up to Marist in New York.
Right, yeah. I actually have a friend who plays there. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
He's from my high school, actually, yeah.
Oh, cool. Very cool.
Receiver, too, actually.
He's having a game and a half. Yeah. And then, boom, gets hurt. Hip goes out on him because it was banged up. And so then he's hurt. He's done. He's on the bench, and it was my turn. I went in, finished the game out, had 50 or 60 yards. Had a game. It was a close game. We lost, but it was blasting. So from there on, after that game, I was the starter just about the rest of the year.
Wow. I mean, injuries are tough, but, like, you hate to, like, make it so that's how you get in there. But when you do, you got to make the most of it. And obviously, There you go. That's your story.
If you're not ready, I don't get that opportunity. If I wasn't ready, yeah.
Right. Yeah. Preparation, I'm sure, is key there too. Like, you can't go into like a week saying, "Oh, I'm the backup, I'm not playing." Like, you gotta something like that could happen. Like what happened to you, and what are you gonna do? Are you now gonna be prepared? Like, you're gonna be ready to go. You know?
Right. Absolutely.
All right. Fast forward. You graduate from Stetson, right? Florida now is in the question, right? How do you get into how does it go when you go to Florida now? Like, was it the same sort of process? Like, talk to me about that.
This one was a little different. My last year at Stetson, I didn't start. Some injuries happened, that the ankle injury I talked about. We had some guys come in, different coaches, different whole staff. I didn't start, but I started. I made it a point to, if I wasn't playing at wide receiver, if I wasn't starting at wide receiver, I was going to find a way on the field. So I ended up starting, I think, in every single special teams that we had
Yeah.
that year. So that's Stetson. And I had a blast doing it. Yeah, I wasn't playing wide receiver, but I was having a blast with my friends, playing special teams, doing what everybody else hated. Everybody hates doing special teams. Well, I had a blast doing it. And so I graduate, and I have no idea what I want to do yet. I knew I wanted to get into construction, and Stetson didn't have it.
Right.
So it was time for me to move on. And so I figured, let me try and transfer to a school that has my program, and if I can walk on, I can walk on. If not, I'm going to focus on construction and finish out. And so growing up a Gator fan, obviously the first place I'm looking is Florida. They've got one of the best construction programs. I'm thinking, okay, if I can get in here, I'm going. And so if I can get in this semester, I'll go. Spring semester. So sure enough, I call them up and say, hey, I know the spring registration is over. Is there any seats left? Is there any way that I could possibly transfer this semester, because I graduated in December?
Wow.
So surprisingly, he says, actually, we've got a couple seats left. If you can get all of your information, all of your transcripts, all of your everything in by the end of this week, we'll give it a look. Got it all in, got accepted, and off I went to you.
So now, I mean, I guess part of this, obviously, the ambition and drive is there, right? You had a goal, you got there, you did everything you had to do, everything you could do, and you got it, you did that. But I guess then you hear probably a little bit of luck, right? I mean, admission is over, you call. That doesn't really just happen, right?
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
I mean, that's like, yeah, I mean, that's just great, man. That's crazy to happen. I mean, just everything you have. I mean, you can look at it this way. Nothing, you wouldn't have got to where you are without the drive and ambition that you have, you know? So you can look at that and be proud about, yeah, I mean, I'm not here just because of an acceptance. I'm here because I got all the way there, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And I think a big part of it is throughout the whole process, I wasn't sure where the next step was. But I knew that if I kept trusting, kept praying, if I stepped, Lord, I trust you to guide my steps, I'm going to roll with it. And so sure enough, I'm feeling, hey, let's call them up and see if there's a seat left. Sure enough, there is, and I get in, boom. Wow. So the reason I was kind of talking about special teams was because that was what got me on the team at UF, I really do believe. Because, I mean, sure, I've started 1.5 years at Stetson at receiver, had a good career, but I'm a 5'10", 200-pound white boy wide receiver from Stetson. Why do you think you can go play wide receiver at the University of Florida? Well, I didn't.
It's a great question.
Once I got to Florida, yeah, exactly, I composed all of my film of special teams, everything I did into one big clip. Holding, kicking, kick returns, blocking, everything I did on special teams I put down there in a video. And I sent an email to the walk-on coordinator and didn't get a response, nothing. So then I made another email, attached my wide receiver film and my special teams film, wrote a nice email, sent it to him, hoping, nothing. So now I'm in classes, I'm going, the football team's working out, I'm driving by, watching them working out, I'm like, crap, I guess this isn't what the Lord has for me. But I had a friend on the team, so I said, hey, what's going on? I know that Coach Napier is now coming in, it's a whole new staff. Coach, forgot his name, Mullen. Coach Dan Mullen's out, Napier's in, so I said, hey, I need the number of the new walk-on coordinator, because I learned that the walk-on coordinator is hired. Travis, sure enough, sends me the new walk-on coordinator's email. I sent him an email, all hopeful, hey, it's going to work this time. I got an email to him, nothing, no response. So I said, hey, work at Stetson, I'm going to go up there and I'm going to knock on the door. I find a way into the building, I go into the offices, I knock on the door, and the walk-on coordinator sitting there, and he says, oh, hey, yeah, sorry, I mean, we get so many emails, let me take a look at your email, and I'll get it back to you. So that's all I asked for. I said, great, here's my name, here's my number, let's roll with it. Go home, next day, got an email response, said, hey, I like what we're seeing here, but here's an invite to the walk-on tryouts, and that was that. That was, so, I mean, it was a little bit of communication.
Right. And that's all it really took to get, a tryout.
Right. And so the walk-on tryouts were totally public. I mean, we had 48 guys show up. It was awesome. I had a blast. All of these kids had a blast. I mean, there's some guys out there that would never really belong in a UF walk-on tryout, but are having a blast, enjoying it. It was awesome to see.
Do colleges normally do that, like hold an open walk-on tryout?
They used to. It's an old school thing, and in these days, it's completely up to the coach and the staff of the new program. A lot of colleges do actually still hold public walk-on tryouts, and I mean, even if it's nothing but a boost for marketing for their team, it's awesome. It was a blast. Some of these kids were living out their dreams, working out with the Florida Gators, so it was cool. But it worked. They said, hey, come out for spring and let's see if you can do this thing, and we'll retain you in the fall. Same scenario as Stetson.
Hey, I mean,
so I had a blast. I had a great spring. I made 3 tackles on kickoff in the spring game. Got a few reps at wide receiver. Had a blast, and so I'm coming back for the fall.
There you go, man. Wow, that's a story. You're 2 for 2.
Yeah, 2 for 2. That's right.
All right. On the lighter side now, we got some fun questions. You get to go to dinner with two people. Who are you going with?
Okay.
Where are you going? What are you ordering?
2 people. Any people dead or alive?
Dead or
Oh man. Shoot. I'd like to go to dinner with. I'm a big history buff. I love history, American history. So I'm going to dinner with probably George Washington. That would be awesome. And are we separate dinners or are we together?
We're all together.
All together? All right. I'm going with George Washington and Tim Tebow.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Like,
That's
dead or alive, I think going to dinner with Tebow would be awesome. And George Washington just even better.
Yeah. I mean, you mentioned as a UF fan growing up, he must have been like
Oh,
a second god to you, right?
Oh yeah, Tebow was everything. I mean, he still is. I mean, it's awesome. Being in
Yeah.
that stadium, he's everywhere.
I bet.
I mean, posters, the
Yeah.
locker room. He's on our lockers, on the walls, in the trophy case. I mean, with all the trophies he won, he's everywhere.
Right. Yeah. So where are you going for dinner?
Oh, that's a good question.
And what are you ordering?
We're going to barbecue for sure, and I'm ordering the pulled pork sandwich.
Wow. I know exactly what that is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You think that fits in their diet? George Washington too?
George Washington, I don't know. Rumor has it he didn't have many teeth, so we might have to order him a smoothie. But Tebow does keto a little bit, so maybe we'll take the bread off for him. But we'll roll with it.
There you go, man. Wow. Last and final, if you had to give advice to any younger kid out there, maybe high school, early college kid, what would you say to them?
I'd say. I mean, everybody says dream big, follow your dreams, chase your dreams, and they're right. But if your dream isn't real, you got to be a little bit realistic with yourself. You've got to align yourself to what you believe God is calling you to. I mean, no matter how bad I could ever want to be a scientist, that is not me. I'm not smart enough, not patient enough, not talented enough. That's a completely unrealistic, unaligned dream. So I think as long as your dreams align with what you've been called to do, what you are made for, I think then you can go for it.
Hey, man. It was great having you on. I appreciate your time. This nice half hour we sat down and talked about
Yeah,
life, your stories, stuff like that. Amazing.
Yeah, you too. It was great to meet another hatter.
Of course, man. Maybe only for a year, but on to other things. I mean, do yourself as well. But we'll definitely keep in touch. Definitely, I'm looking forward to see what you guys do in Florida this next year. I mean, as a Michigan fan myself, I don't know how much I'll root for you guys, but regardless, thank you for coming on. This will be I think episode 55. I think.
Wow,
Yeah.
man, yeah, I love what you're doing. Keep it up. This is awesome.
Yeah, man. We got 3 episodes every weekend: Friday, Saturday, Sunday at
Awesome.
noon Eastern time. Athletic Minds, the brand itself, just came out with our merch collection on our website. I haven't really been marketing that yet, but soon that'll be out there into the public.
There you go.
More people know about it. Is what I'm saying.
Heck yeah.
Regardless, thank you for coming on, and we wish you the best, man.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you having me. Keep it up.
All right. Have a good night.
You too, Charlie.
All right.